Hello friends, welcome to Kavita's Classroom. Today's topic in hand is market failure and public goods. So let's proceed by knowing what do we mean by the term public goods? What are its special features? So let's understand. When it comes to public good, it means it's state provided goods. We say direct provision is made by the state or the government, right? And the two important features are these are non-rivalrous and non-excludable. What do we mean by the same? When it comes to non-rivalrous, it means the consumption of these public goods by one person would not impact the consumption to the other. It means that the others would also be having the same chances and the same scope of consumption. For example, street light, right? So even if a person has paid or not paid the taxes, or whether he is a resident of that society or not, if these are the public goods, not the private ones, right? So would be open to all for usage. Whosoever passes from that uses that. Right. Non-excludable means on no criteria, on no economic or social criteria, we can exclude anyone from using these public goods. It means whether a person, as I gave you the example, even if the person has got some paying capacity or not, whether he is super rich or super poor, whether he pays the taxes or doesn't pay, whether he is for one religion or the other, whatever is the situation, no one can be particularly excluded from the usage of those goods. Right. So these are the two important features of non-rivalrous and non-excludable goods. These are the features of public goods, right? So now let's understand the situation when the government provides the good or when there is a direct provision of these goods. How do we show it pictorially? The situation is the perfect inelastic supply of public good is there. It means government simply decides that this is going to be the supply for the ongoing year or whatever duration, right? So it is perfectly inelastic, which is going parallel to y-axis, right? But because these are provided at zero prices, so let's understand this is the perfectly inelastic curve is shown by S curve. Demand is usually the downward sloping curve, which is DD here, right? It intersects at E, which is the equilibrium. But the point is, these goods are provided by the state to its citizens, right? So it is provided at zero price. Mind you, you have to show it at zero price. The demand is this much and the quantity supply is this much. So this is the social optimal output, means as decided by the government that ideally this much provision should be created in the economy. So this is showcased as socially optimal output, QSO. Right. So this shaded area simply talks about the market failure here also, and the problem that because it's provided free of cost, the demand is higher and the supplies are not getting matched. So it always leads to the deficient supply or excess demand situation in the economy. The problem is private companies have no incentives to provide the public goods, hence market fails to supply them efficiently. Why would a private company be providing something for which it's not able to charge the user? Right. As I've written it here, a private company has no incentive to deal in any public good like defense or street lights when it cannot charge its user. Right. And the problem here basically is the free rider problem. Why the free rider problem comes? I've mentioned it. The free rider problem occurs due to the non-excludability feature of the public good. We cannot exclude anyone from using these goods. Why? Because of its non-excludability nature, means even if the person is able to afford, even if the person should be paying, but because it's provided free of cost, so it's just a burden to the government, right? So it's a free rider problem which is happening on account of non-excludability. Those who can afford or those who cannot afford, both are getting it free. That's why underproduction happens, and there is always a persistent situation of excess demand and deficient supply in case of public goods. And this area, the shaded area, is very important to be showcased that it always struggles with the excess demand problem in the economy. I hope the things are clear to you. Thanks for watching. Bye bye. See ya.